Welcome to an algebra video tutorial working our way through linear equations, specifically parallel lines. So here's a common problem a lot of times you'll see in an algebra class as you're really getting into understanding writing linear equations. It's oftentimes like this. Write a linear equation that is parallel to y equals negative x plus 2, and it goes to the point 8 comma negative 10. So there's two things we got to satisfy here. We got to know it's parallel. So we need a parallel line and goes through the point 8, negative 10. So I got to satisfy both of those conditions. Parallel line to y equals negative x plus 2. All right, and if it doesn't meet both of those conditions, then it's not the linear equation that I'm looking for. So let's start with the first one, a parallel line to y equals negative x plus 2. Well, parallel lines have the same slope. So in this equation that I'm given here, we need to figure out what is the slope of that line. Well, the slope, it's already in y equals mx plus b form. The slope is the coefficient of what's in front of the x. So when I look at this, it's got a negative x. I can think of that as a negative 1 times x. The slope is negative 1. And since parallel lines have the same slope, my new equation that I'm going to write here also has to have a slope of negative 1. So there you go. We just satisfied the first condition. Whatever linear equation I make has to have a slope of negative 1 because it's got to be parallel. It has to have the same slope. Okay, the second condition is it has to go to the point 8 comma negative 10. Well, I'm going to pull out my point slope form equation, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, because it's the easiest way. If you know a point, if you know the slope, it's the easiest way to get to an equation. So here in this case, my x1 value is a specific point, so I'm going to put 8 in for x1. My y1 value is negative 10. I'm going to put that in for y1. I know my slope, so my equation is going to be y minus negative 10 equals a slope of negative 1 times x minus 8. There's my x1 value. Now let's go ahead and simplify this thing down. There's point slope form, but let's go ahead and simplify it all the way down to slope intercept form and just get it nice and pretty looking here. So y minus negative 10, I can rewrite that as y plus 10. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute that negative 1 to get negative x plus 8. And for my final step, I can subtract 10 from both sides and get y equals negative x minus 2. All right, so there we go. There is our linear equation. We know it's parallel because it has the same slope. Both of them have a negative x and negative x, so they both have a slope of negative 1. It's going to go through this point, 8, negative 10, because we used that point to write a point slope form equation, putting in 8 and negative 10 in their respective places. And then we simplified it down, and we can see the only difference is they have the same slope. The only difference is one has a y-intercept of plus 2, where my new equation has a y-intercept of negative 2. So here I could graph them if I want to double check it, but yep, they are parallel lines.